Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. We will begin in just a moment. Thank you, everyone, for your patience as we ironed out some technical details, and I appreciate you joining us today. Ronald, how do you hear me? Okay?
I can hear you very well.
Great.
Can you hear me? More important.
Yes, absolutely. So we're all in the same game. All right. So if you would just mind letting me know when to advance slides, I'll be able to get us through this. Okay, let's begin, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And again, once again, this session is being recorded, and a recording will be made available as well as a wrap-up article very shortly. And thank you for joining us. Hello and welcome to our webinar today, Your Future in Data Science, a Career Outlook for 2020. Data scientists are enjoying the brightest career outlook for the next decade, and many companies are transforming themselves from traditional software development specializers into data science companies. Now, how can you take advantage of this demand? So in this session, Ronald Van Loon, the world's top influencer in data and analytics, will tell us all the data science career outlook information for 2020 and how you can go about landing a job as a data scientist. And you, of course, are invited to join with your own questions and observations through the chat feature of WebEx. So before we get started, I just want you to take a minute to familiarize with how you can participate. So what will happen is that by default, everyone's microphone is going to be muted. So you can ask a question of Ronald or myself by simply clicking the chat button. That's a speech icon bubble at the bottom of the page there. And then a chat window will appear. And of course, you can, in the to field, select the host and presenter from the drop-down menu. Make sure you select host and presenter, and that way Ronald and I will be able to see your question. And then finally in the chat box, once you've typed your question, hit send, and then we'll be on our way. So I'm Dan Bevener, your moderator today. And it is my pleasure to introduce you to our esteemed guest, Ronald Van Loon. Now, Ronald Van Loon is one of the foremost thought leaders in the fields of data science and digital transformation. He was named by Analytical as the world's #1 influencer in data and analytics, automation, and the future of the economy and technology. He's also the #2 influencer in the world in Internet of Things topics, and also artificial intelligence and digital transformation, and of course AI and education. And he was also named the #3 influencer in AI and many AI related topics. In addition to his popularity as a speaker at worldwide events, he is also an author of a number of leading big data and data science websites, including Dataflock, Data Science Central, and The Guardian, and he's a director at Adversegment, a leading data analytics company. So thank you very much for joining us, Ronald, and thanks for everyone for participating as well. How are you doing?
Thank you, Dan, and thank you for the very kind introduction.
My pleasure. It's really great to see so many people on the webinar because data science is an incredibly popular topic, and we're looking forward to hearing what you have to say on the career outlook. So let's start off by telling us what is data science and what does it do?
Yeah, maybe start with an analogy to make it a little bit more vivid and a little bit more tacit. So
okay.
Think of a fruit basket that contains all kinds of different fruit from numerous different countries, where you can think about from bananas from Brazil or avocados from California or kiwis, of course, from New Zealand. And as a chef would look at this fruit basket and would like to figure out how to combine all these separate, distinct types of fruit and make a really unified dish, like a pie or a fruit shake, for example. So they need to be able to look at these different fruits and figure out what nutritional value they offer and what flavors taste very good together and what other ingredients to be added, to be integrated into the dish, and what the impact is going to be to a person's either diet or its eating habits, or how it affects the current restaurant menu, for example. Maybe you can go to the next slide. Shall I say next slide if I want to have a next slide?
Yeah, Ronald, just say move ahead or something like that, and I'll get the hint.
Perfect.
Thanks.
So if you look at the data scientists, they have to act in a similar way for their business. And they have to look at tons of different disparate types of data sources and figure out how to collect, how to store, how to process, but also how to distribute and then maintain it in a way that real meaning can be derived from it. So it's similar like, let's say, this cook. And they have to obtain insights so that companies can act on the information and support their business goals. So a data scientist needs to be able to use the data for the bigger picture, and they need to be able to look at it from separate stars in the night sky and see it as a constellation, which is a similar analogy, I think. And there's a lot of different job descriptions and a lot of different job titles for data scientists, and which can be confusing. Sometimes it's confusing for me, but you can especially imagine that it's confusing for many companies, for many directors, and also for the people that are in the domain. But their job is to make the current data sources, make them really useful, make them fine, and really create new ones, and help the employee and the company to innovate with data. So if you look to a data scientist, they're model builders, but on the other hand, they're also problem solvers, and you need to be able to communicate. You are a real communicator and help with the decision making. So the data scientists have the skills to work really on large sets of data, of course, and integrate this data set and make something useful and make something meaningful out of it. Let's say with a comparable like with this cook. So sometimes data scientists have to think outside the box as well, or don't even think from a box perspective, and get a little bit more creative to come to conclusions. And that's why data science isn't such a straightforward job position. It's really depending on your specific project. It's depending on your specific company goals and what you're going to approach, how you're going to approach data, and how you're going to approach the technology and the different tools to achieve your end goal. So you have a lot of choices, and all kinds of different industries, all kinds of companies, but also governance entities. They all need data scientists, and not only for helping them to gain the insights from the data, but also to make predictions for more strategic decision making. Next slide, please, then. So a data scientist's task or his job function, whatever you want to call it, may seem similar to performing basic business intelligence, but I think there are some very clear distinctions. So if you look to BI is intended for analyzing specific data and relies on specific strategies and technologies to offer past, present, and predictive views of a business daily operation. But BI uses structured information, and it falls more under this solidly in the domain of analytics, and it uses a lot of visualization tools and like dashboards or like reports, and that are built on more standard statistics. And it compares past and current information to pinpoint the trends. If you now look to data science, then it uses both structured and unstructured data. And this is more based in science and more in mathematics, and it uses very advanced, sophisticated statistical and predictive analysis. And you can think about machine learning or AI, of course. And it combines both the past and the current data to arrive these future predictions. Next slide, please. So what daily life look like for a data scientist? What does their job look like? If I look at it, it starts with figuring out the problem. It's like looking to a huge pile of puzzle pies that you tipped off out of the table from a box, and then deciding where all the edge pieces are, and so you can start the foundation to build on. And then you start adding one puzzle piece at a time to each other and start building this image to get the big picture. And the same is with collecting the data, working with the data to make sure it's accurate, to make sure it's useful, and going through the analytics process, building the models, building the algorithms, and then arriving at some important and helpful conclusions and the results that you can share with your management and with your higher ups. And then you choose the same type of techniques on this puzzle, and you do it over and over again. So there's many different reasons why data science is going to continue to be really the increasing promising career option for 2020. It's already there for multiple years, but it's going to stay for multiple years. So let's start with some facts. So if you look to India, for example, it's a major growing analytics hub. And the cumulative analytics market in India is currently already $30 billion, which is substantial. And the ability to monetize the data and procure skilled talent is a top priority for many of the business leaders in India, not only in India, but in any country basically. And these business leaders are also competing for the top talents with the right attractive skill set. And this is a big initiative, but also a big concern for them right now. And outsourcing is another one. Outsourcing also has been a top driver for data scientist demand in India. And this is going to increase the next few years even more. So India is a major provider of data analytics outsourcing right now. And the AI advancement will really further accelerate this outsourcing initiatives. And especially in the areas of cognitive automation and advanced analytics, where very specialized knowledge and skills are necessary. So there's a gap between the supply and demand of data scientists. And everybody who's in data science recognize this and gets probably quite often some calls. So if you look, for example, to the US, the largest in this market is the US. And there's a need right now over 150,000 data scientists. And this is according to job listing. There's also a global shortage of data science skills, also in Europe and Asia. But I think US is in advance of the other countries right now. And in these countries, it's about hundreds, some thousands of requirements. So if you are a company, you really need expert talent. But it can be very difficult to manage this because of the complexity of the data and each of the company's specific data practices. So if you are a data scientist, you have to be able to handle the technical, but also the communication and also the business aspect of the role. And that's only the beginning when it comes to the skill set that you need. So businesses are changing their perspective of data scientists and want less generalized skills, and they want more and more specialization. So companies want skill-specific and sector-specific skills that can help them innovate. And if you don't have the sector-specific skills, it's very hard to support a company with the innovation. And with this innovation, they want to drive their disruption with new technologies. And where once we thought that data science is more some kind of open field, we see now this really is now narrowing to this very specific path. And you can compare it with a brick road that has different kinds of forks where you have to choose your direction. And as we now move into 2020 and as well the future years after that, data science have to develop the specialized skills to be highly specific and highly precise. So think about it, what you want to do, what you like, what you love, and start finding that direction. So the specific fork in the brick road that you as a data scientist, you need to choose now and take going where you want to go and where your career develops it. So data science has been the #1 position on Glassdoor of the best jobs in America, and this is already for 4 years. And that's probably not going to stop. And I'm sure you have heard that it's called the sexiest job in the US, or the unicorn of the positions, by major publications last year. If we look a little bit more ahead and we look to 2026, you have the Bureau of Labor, the US Bureau of Labor of Statistics, and they predict that in 2026, so around 6 years from now, it's 11.5 million jobs in data science and analytics, and that's gigantic. So if you look to the US alone, this is the job position availability, and this is going to be mirrored in other countries as well. The US is ahead together with China, but you can expect this kind of trend in other countries as well. And there's also real-time analytics. So real-time analytics is playing a role in demand for data scientist skills as well. So you see the rapidly and constantly changing for tons of different data sources in demand for very specific skill sets from the talented data scientists. On the other hand, you also need a more robust data analytics governance. And this is changing right now. We see this in Europe with the GDPR. So the need for GDPR needs to be compliant, which means that it needs to have strong data security standards that are defined and also set by the data scientists. And additionally, you can see that companies that need data scientists to help them connect the data with all the business initiatives in a way that it really aligns with the constantly changing data privacy laws and regulations. So these laws advancing. In Europe, we have already the next version, and we see in 2020 there's also in California, it's implementing a similar data privacy act, similar as GDPR. So there's likely to be an increase for data science skills in this state as well, although there is, of course, in California already a huge demand. So it's also interesting to note that research shows that 94% of the data scientists and graduates have gotten jobs since 2011, 94%. So you can feel very comfortable if you're either moving into that direction or you are already a data scientist, that you have very good job potential and stay within this domain as well. And this indicates how reliable a career option in data science is, both now, but as well moving into the future for the coming years. So it's a career path that runs parallel to all the digital disruption that's on the horizon. And you see this is evolving very, very quickly. And it's capable of growing alongside of the changing landscape of the technology progress. So if we look to this growth in data science right now is also connected to a few other important factors. You can think about the projected data increase from IoT or from social data. At the edge, I spoke yesterday or last week with somebody from HPE. They said from all data in the world that we have, 75% of the data, from all data available, is at the edge. And we're only collecting now a very, very minimum part of this. So there's a huge potential. And we see other advancements in AI and in machine learning technology. Like these are really spreading the adoption on the use of the intelligent technologies in more and more businesses. Many companies now focus on machine learning and AI. And these developments of increasingly sophisticated computing capabilities to make the use of accelerating data and the algorithms. So we see that all of this growing data, all of this new technology advancement, adoptions of sophisticated technologies, increasing computing capabilities require highly skilled data scientists to manage it. So that's a very nice, I think, forecast. Also, accordingly to the Data Security Confidence Index, and this was from Gemalto, this was in 2018, they say that 65% of the businesses, they couldn't analyze or categorize all of the data they have stored. And this is also a common problem with many companies, so they cannot handle the current data that they store. So companies are going to have even more difficult times in managing all of the data that grows continuously and increase with the need and the connection to multiple data sources. And this data growth will be a major factor in contributing the ongoing demand for your data science. And more companies are adopting AI and they're adopting machine learning. So AI-specific skill sets are becoming increasingly important and prominent across any type of sector. Also, if we look at IDC, they predicted in 2022 that 75% of the enterprises will infusing intelligent automation into their technology and process development and using AI-based software to discover operational and experiential insights to guide their innovation. So this is a tremendous increase from the uses of AI. And if you then look to the chief data officers from these organizations, to which I often talk to, and other senior executives, they're really serious about AI and going to be focused on getting this data that their data science teams need during 2020. So there's a tremendous focus on this. And additionally, being able to effectively and use intelligently this automation is going to call for a big effort in data cleansing, but also in integration and also in data management. And as it's resolving any data issues in legacy systems that a data science skill need to support. There's another reason why data scientists are in such a high demand is because of the whole data science process itself is repetitive in nature. So it involves the input of many different skill sets and many different subject matter experts. And companies want to be able to speed up and refine this process so it's more predictable and they can increase and improve more their time to value. They also want to be able to constantly and continuously improve the operationalization of the data science. So it should all go smoother, it should go faster, and they need the right skills for this. So if you then look at the different training and the different career path options, and I've already mentioned how the need for more specialized and more specific data science skills is becoming increasingly important for your career. So let's get into the skills that are particular in demand. Top companies are looking for special skills that range from analytical and critical thinking, also to machine learning and to natural language process. And skills in software programming and in engineering are also quite popular areas if you look to talent specialization, and you can think about it if this is an area for you. And being able to effectively work with unstructured data, also very important, because companies have all kinds of different data from all different kinds of variety of sources, and unstructured data is growing tremendously. So they need data scientists that are able to work with data using any number of different type of tools. So other skills and types of talent companies are looking for in data scientists are skills in data analysis. That's basically where you can start. One skill which is very important, which I think many data scientists still lack, but it's very valuable, is the communication skill. And that's both verbal and written. And as a data scientist, you're not going to be very valuable asset for a business leader if you're not able to communicate with them effectively. So you have to be able to connect the business side of the data science with the technical and the scientific side with each other. And you have to share your ideas and your goals with all the type of business users and leaders in a way that they understand. And that's a skill that's so valuable that I think your value increases multiple tens of percent if you cover this skill. And you also need to be able to work as a team member, and this communication part helps you with this. So as a data scientist, you also have to have some more creative and imaginative skills, which brings you the storytelling. So if you are able to share your insights with business users and non-data scientists in a way that they can quickly comprehend it, then you're likely to be relying on some more storytelling capabilities that help you draw some connection and conclusions in a more universal way, which helps your environment and your other employees to understand what you mean. So the adaptability and the product understanding are other important skills. It also drives your curiosity to innovation. So you need to love your domain where you're in. You need to spend time, let's say, next to your job in the domain. And if you are loving it, you can drive your innovation because you really feel the passion. And understanding your business is incredibly valuable in the new era. Next slide, please. So companies, they're always looking for the data scientists with the specific skills, but also, of course, with the certification. And instead of data scientists who can do a little bit of everything, they look for the specialists. So data scientists should focus on, for example, one specific field of AI. And you can think about data labeling, or you can think about machine learning or statistical modeling or parallel computing. If you look to top talent in AI, they should have the skills in AI applications. But now with the new developments in cloud, also in cloud computing, and the fast advancement in IoT, also in IoT and in industrial robotics, 4 types of area which are very valuable. What we see advanced as well is this deep learning. So skills in deep learning frameworks is becoming more widely used and is in demand, and it is skills to support your AI innovation. So most companies today, if I talk to industry leaders, they're investing in data science skills. And it's a necessity for these businesses to compete and to survive today and to survive tomorrow. If they don't invest in data science, they basically will be out of business quite soon, and that's in most of the industry. So the value generated from insights to help companies to personalize user experiences for both the customer but also for the employee is also a valuable skill. And many of you probably know that how important personalization is in interactions. You have it in your personal business. You want to have a personal treatment. Everything is personalized right now. And this is also happening now step by step in B2B. So personalization is going to be an ongoing business objective moving into the future as well. If we look at the data scientists, they're constantly in demand. And if we talk about sectors, it's in every sector, in every field of business. So whatever interest you happen to be, you're probably going to find corresponding needs for a data scientist in that domain. So look at what you like, what you love, and find the companies that fit with you. Just keep it in your perspective. If you want to look for the top industries, then you can think about industries like healthcare. You can think about pharmaceutical, telecommunication, energy, and automotive. These are 5 industries that are really advancing and moving forward and have the highest need in data scientists right now. So depending on your area of interest and your skill specialization, data scientists need to have a lot of career options available, I think. So if we look at the career path development, it happens during your career, based upon your skills, based upon your interest, based upon your experience, and you naturally gain all different kinds of domain knowledge and specialized skills as you are immersed in your everyday practice. And if you like your practice, you gain experience quite quickly. And this can help you better understand and learn to identify and work around all the challenges that you have in data science, I think myself. So this brings us to the next topic. So where and how do you want to start? By now you're probably wondering where and how you want to start your education and your career journey in data science. That's probably why you joined this webinar as well. So for those who are already practicing data scientists, This can help you further to improve your career and your ongoing education. I want to add pursuing ongoing education and skills in this field is going to be a huge asset because the advancements are so quickly, you can't stop. So the fields evolve so fast and there's all the new technologies and all the new techniques. If you're not keeping up yourself informed and fresh it all the time, you're going to find your relevancy and your contribution to your job role really at risk quite quickly already. So you might find that you naturally begin to develop a certain specialization as you continue to be immersed in a specific data science or data application role or a specific type of everyday task. And I see this with more and more companies that just hire a bachelor and they say, let's find out where you fit, let's find out what you like and develop the skills step by step. After you obtain an undergraduate degree, you may want to look into applying for an internship where you can find a special area of interest that guides your advanced education and that guides you in your professional career path. So what I see is still a lot of data scientists find that getting advanced degrees like a master's degree in a specific field of data science ends up directing their specialization towards a very specific industry or a very specific field. And if you're gaining an advanced degree isn't an option for you or it doesn't interest you, you don't like it, but you still want to focus on specialization through educational resources, you can earn a bachelor degree, for example, in data science. And then extend your specialization taking all kinds of supplemental courses, for example, in programming languages or in data warehousing, for example. And many consider data science as a cross-disciplinary field. And this can be an advantage because there's so much room for this specialization. So there are specific areas of education to focus as you consider your future career outlook as a data scientist. And then you can think, for example, of big data. So big data are actually management. That's really the foundation every company to do analytics and to do advanced analytics. So based on this solid foundation, companies can do their analytics to provide insights and to improve their products and their services, but also their business model. And this is the core why they're doing this. Managing their data properly on enterprise level gives companies a really required foundation, and therefore is it a skill that is very valuable for data scientists. So you can have a look into educational courses in big data, but also in data mining or in predictive model building, but also in Hadoop or in Spark. The next area, you can think about BI and data science. So having solid understanding and skills in BI or in data science will give you a really good foundation to perform application analysis or data modeling for centralized data warehousing. So you can think about certification in data management, BI reporting, or BI development. And there's several certifications that are relevant for this. And you can think about machine learning or visualization or probability and statistics. The next one, we were talking about it already, is machine learning and AI. So machine learning and AI is a domain that evolves very, very rapidly right now. Every technology company is focused on it as a very high number one or number two priority. And education is a must to stay up to date with the latest advancements and technological methodologies. Don't stop. Have a look into professional certifications like neuro-linguistic programming and natural language processing, deep learning, and predictive analytics, for example. Enterprise cloud platforms, that's the last new trend. We see that data management, analytics, and machine learning and AI, they become all part of the enterprise cloud infrastructure, whether it's on-prem, whether it's cloud at customer, or whether it's cloud. Now it's all under the cloud domain, and it's all integrated, and this moves quite quickly forward. It becomes much easier now to set up and deploy an end-to-end infrastructure at enterprise level, but it still needs a data scientist to understand how all the applications deliver one total solution. If you look at certification in this domain, you can think about cloud platform and infrastructure, or cloud development, or cloud architect. I think we're one slide behind. Can you go to the next slide? So how to improve your talents to meet the skill demand. Develop statistical literacy and programming skills with hands-on training. Don't try everything by education, just start doing it. An applied experience is just as important as the education. It's knowing, but also it's doing. And if you want as much experience as you can get, just go out there and start doing it. Also, you need to stay on top of all the industry trends and the innovations in the domain that you like. So you are aware of changes in your field and you adjust your ongoing training and education along with these new types of trends. On the other hand, supplementary resources to help you practice all your skills, and you can think for support as you further your education or your career in the coming years. And you can check out some external professional resources like the Data Science Association. And this is a non-profit organization that helps you promote ethical behavior and diversity in this profession. And acting ethical in a diverse manner with data is becoming more and more important and a focus for many different companies. And this features a wide catalog and library of helpful materials that they have for data scientists. Another one is also Data Science Bootcamp, for example. You have Data Science Dojo and the New York Data Science Academy, as all those want engagement in the industry outside of the education or the certification. Next slide, please. So this brings us a little bit more into the future. So moving towards the future of data science. So if we look to the future, companies need to innovate and problem solve much faster and more efficiently. So competition for better, more specialized talent and more specialized will be really on the rise as companies try to get ahead of the game and take advantage of these new technologies. And this competition between all these companies for the best talent is growing and growing, which is good for all the data scientists out there. But also, if you look to future workspaces, are going to have a much more specialized source of value generation and contribution as well. So the largest contributors to this value are going to be the data scientists and the craftsmen. So there's a new type of trend. So organizations will be changing their entire hiring process and talent structure to accommodate the need for the specialized talent. And it can be either the craftsman or the data scientist. And where it's now common that the talent structured for a traditional hierarchical pyramidal shape. So you have the CEO, you have the vice president, you have the director, you have the manager, and then you have the operation. This is going to change. This is going to change in what they call more a rhombus shape, where you have the craftsman and the data scientist centrally in an organization and define all the new products, all the new services and the innovation. And this is supported by AI to automate all repetitive type of tasks. So organizations will continue to adopting these more advanced technology tools that require more narrow and more specialized fields of talent. And you can think about cloud computing and edge computing is becoming increasingly beneficial for companies. I was talking about this already, that this edge computing, that 75% of the data available worldwide is at the edge. And we're only approaching, I think now 5 or 10%. And these companies, they need talent to handle both the current and the future demands of these AI technologies. And in fact, 54% of all the decision makers who are using now this edge computing have claimed that the ability to manage the future demands of AI technology like this edge computing, that's going to be the one of their biggest advantages. And 53% of the global data analytics decision makers have also adopted or are in the process of implementing and expanding and upgrading implementation some form of AI. 53% already. And it was, I think, last year, 15%. So this is growing tremendously. Data science job roles and titles are going to be highly specific to match the need for the specialized talent. And new job roles, and you can think of, for example, as data science leaders, or you have translators, or they're really going to become popular. And you see new titles and new job roles popping up step by step as the market advances. So it's likely that all these new job titles emerge as we move into the future. And the talent and the skills become even more focused around the specific capabilities and around the specific domains. I've said it many times right now, but it's really something that we see as a big trend. So if you look to the professionals who are already immersed in the industry, they're finding that the coming challenges across all these related skills, and they're altering their hunt for the talent, and they're altering the move to the future. So if you look to the chief data scientists, they really cite all the time this lack of relevant skills and talent as a key internal roadblock for their success, which is good for the data science role, but bad for the companies. And data analytics skills, they're named as for CEOs as the most in-demand skill, and this is according to a Gartner survey. So the increasing importance of data analytics is causing organizations to really reshape and rethink their approach to specific data analytics talent roles if they move to the future. If they want to compete they need to have these skills, they need to have this talent. And right now, some key roles that Gardner has mentioned for data analytics and data science are, for example, data engineers, but also master data management program managers, or data ethics, or data-driven facilitators. And moving into this future, these new roles are emerging to add value to the business. You can think about things like algorithm business domain experts, but also data sourcing managers. I was talking to Revolut, and they were adding 350 sources of data per 3 months to their current structure, 350. So sourcing the data becomes also very important. And if we look to the data ethicists, they will continually be very critical of how companies treat and use the data. It should be ethical. And particularly as conversation about AI ethics, we see them evolving as an important point of interest. And all of the people in society think that data and AI should be used ethically, and which is really the foundation to let AI survive. Over the next coming years, emerging user interfaces of NLP, of gesture and computer vision, they're going to be embedded in every kind of product and device, and also need data scientists for this. And advancement in innovation in AI, they're shifting this future talent toward mastering this new type of skills. So they need to be able to offer data insights. They need to be able to apply technology in different scenarios, but also a data scientist need to be responsive to dynamic changes and customized demands, and maintain all the business standards across various different platforms. So something I hear a lot of interest and concern about is what is the increasing automation of data science tasks and the automated data science tools means for the future of data scientists. And I think you can generalize it and look at how AI is evolving right now. AI is augmenting all different kinds of job roles, and I think it's the same for the data scientists. So companies are facing data science challenges, and which is leading to a growing adoption of automation of data science tools and tasks. So there's a shortage, so they're trying to automate it. And data science projects are really time consuming and also may take too long to deliver value and impact to companies. And domain knowledge and expertise from the data scientist is very hard to get by companies, and it's very hard to retain because of the skill shortage and the high demand of data scientists. So the heavy dependency on this and the very small pool of talent and experienced people makes it very hard, but also gets quite some pressure on this automation. Automated data science can analyze all this massive amounts of data quickly, and it's typically used during the machine learning modeling phases right now. It's also used to reduce some of the heavy lifting and tedium from the data science process. Automation can also be used to automate important but very time-consuming tasks that occur when developing and optimizing your AI. So this can allow data scientists to work with more high-impact use cases and take more exploratory projects and speed up the time to results. And I see this in every job role, and I think a data scientist is not an exception. And ideally, automated data science will augment data scientists and will help them save time on performing all this tedious and manual type of task, and allow them to do smarter, more things with intuitive tools. And this, I think, will change the nature of their jobs as well. So the specific roles and specific tasks are going to be defined by more responsibility and more value-driven impact. And also communication is really a core skill in this part. So there's going to be a strong need for mathematical data science skills. There's going to be a need for knowledge in this domain, and ensure that the automated decisions that are being generated are accurate, and they should be of high quality, because a lot of items are depending on this. If we look to automated data science tools, they really have the potential to be a great asset for data scientists. So don't be afraid of it, embrace it, and open up new opportunities for creating value for yourself, but also for your employer. And I think it's just like with any type of form AI in general, when used responsibly and ethically, automated data science will be really a tool that can enhance and support also data scientists. So if we look to the wrap up, we see marked evolution as we move now into 2020 and the next coming years after. And there's going to be this high demand for data scientists, it's step by step increasing in 2020 and years after. But there's more and more need for this highly specific, highly specialized skill set. So think about what your direction will be if you take a junction on your career road. As you look into shaping your education and your knowledge base, focus on really fine-tuning this sector-specific and this domain-specific knowledge. Think about new roles that are going to be emerging. So having this specialized perspective from your experience, and think about skills that you can build in data ethics. This is going to be especially attractive to companies in the coming years. And if we look a little bit further ahead, the future outlook of data science, there's a need for more narrow, specific data science skills and less for the generalizations, specialists. So think of that brick road that we talked about earlier as you delve into your education and your career and you begin to define the type of specialization and skill sets you want to master to bring value for your employee and to bring value to your joy in your job. We saw also that the job titles and the roles, they're going to reflect these type of specialized skill sets. So you will see new job roles popping up more and more for companies that are looking for more for this specific domain knowledge and the specific skills. An automated data science task, as we just discussed, and the tools, they're going to be a factor in how many data scientists approach their projects and how they approach their job roles. Then a short word about education and certification. I really truly believe that it's very important for data scientists to get the right degrees and the right certification and not only jumpstart to their career, but really to advance them. So remember that domain expertise and experience is really useful and helpful for many companies, but this can be learned over time as you immerse in practice. And of course advisor for Simplilearn. Simplilearn is a very, very valuable resource for today, but also for tomorrow's data scientists to shape their education, to shape their ongoing learning and their career path. Thank you for listening, and apologies for the short delay in the beginning. And then maybe there are some questions.
Hi, Ronald. Yes, absolutely. There are quite a few questions here. Let me start off by, we have one person who's asking about their future because he says that he's having almost 13 years of experience but no experience in programming. How do you see the future professionals like me in the field of data science or AI and ML without starting all over again?
So he has experience in IT or no experience in IT?
He says he doesn't specify. Let's see. I have good Excel analytics skills and see myself as a problem solver and have moderate presentation skills and looking for taking a leap in my career. So it looks like he may not have any programming skills, but wants to see where someone without a background in programming can get a start in trying to get a foot into either the education or career like this.
Yeah, so what I see with multiple companies, they require a bachelor degree. So that's the foundation. Interest in the domain. So if you like the domain, you have some knowledge about it, that's, I think, quite important, and some good or even excellent analytical and learning skills. Remarkable to see that the bachelor degree, which can be any degree, I have even talked to companies that have people that studied geography or historical. They went into data science. So it's more to have the skills than, let's say, the background. And then you can educate and you can build experience with, on one hand, SQL. For example, this Revolut. Every person within Revolut is one of the disruptors in the financial industry. But every person in their company either know or learn SQL. That's the foundation, how they start. And they, let's say, make data available for everybody. And this is how you can start as well. If you have interest in it, start with SQL, start with your experience and knowledge in relational databases, maybe expand it with programming skills like R or Python. This is how you can start working within your company, ask access to the data. If you look more to a specific role, you can think from the perspective as a data analyst, or you can call it a junior data scientist. But I think a data analyst is a nice step to start and understand learning and analyzing data. If you want to move further, you can advance, of course, with a master's degree, or you can go in this specialized direction, what we were talking about. You can think about labeling or big data or machine learning. I think these are next steps that you can move into. And I think if you go into this direction, what's important is to reach out, to expand your network, start talking to recruiters, and start explaining what you want and what you're looking for. Look at sites where you can either do some assignments or just start with it, be doing it for free, an assignment for free. Just get started. I think that's the most important part to move into this direction.
Yeah.
And then the background, as I said, a bachelor could be sufficient.
Great. So how much statistics do we need to learn if we're getting into data science?
That depends where you basically start. If you start a good foundation of statistics, I think is very important, but there's more, let's say, areas that could be very important, like mathematics, like analytics, like data visualization, about some software engineering, some programming skills, whether it's C++, have some economic background, software development. So it's different type of areas that touch the field of a data scientist. But statistics is some kind of foundation. But again, here, if you have a background in it, dive into it and start doing courses next to your job and educate in the domain that you like, in the domain what you feel happy with. Because yes, sometimes some parts of let's say a route doesn't feel comfortable. Don't try to push yourself in, because there are many different junctions you can take and just find the right junction. And if statistics is not the right junction for you, just look for different type of roles.
Okay, great. So Abdullah has a question. As a fresh graduate, if I can't find a job or internship in data science, what should I do? How do I move forward?
Yeah, so on one hand, make yourself build some kind of CV, reaching out, expand your network. That's one part. But also go to sites as Kaggle, start doing assignments, just start working on it, prove yourself that you develop your skills, and keep on reaching out to people, ask them for either an assignment or ask them to help, or ask them for data sets. And this way, at a certain moment, people will trust you and provide it to you. If you don't know anybody, start reaching out via social media. You need to be proactive. If you just sit and wait, it's not going to happen.
Great. So I have another question here. Can you please specify a relevant certification to data visualization?
There's many. We have Tableau, and we have SAS. We have all different kinds of tools available in the market. And I think over here, look as well, which type of tools are they using within your company. Start with these type of tools. If they're not using tools, look to the list of most used tools. But I expect that most companies have some kind of data visualization tools, and start with that tool. Because if you understand one, it's most likely that you can quite easily switch in case you have to switch to another type of tool.
Great. Another question here is, somebody has a long career in finance, for example, and they've got the training and they get a certification. How are companies okay with people who have switched mid-career from a non-technical field, or are they looking for people that have been technical their whole careers? So this person trying to switch from non-technical to data science, is that going to hold them back?
No, I think it's the opposite, because domain expertise becomes in the end as important as the data science skills that you have. Mm-hmm. So if you want to switch, I think anyhow it's good to step into it, because every company is going to be data driven, and you need to understand the basic skills, all the basic data science skills. But if you want to switch, if you have a bachelor degree, if you have certain domain knowledge, if you are enthusiastic about a certain domain, companies love it because there's a lack. And if you have people that really enthusiastic about it and want to study next to their job, it is you can learn it. It's not magic. It's science. So you can learn it step by step. Domain expertise is harder, and experience is harder to gain, especially in the financial industry. It's hard to get domain expertise. You need to be in the domain, and the domain is changing so fast. So it's hard to buy that. So I think the more people that take this type of career change will be valuable for the industry, and definitely companies are very open for this to give them a chance and give them a certain route and possibility within an organization.
Yeah, that's encouraging. That's great advice. We have someone else that is an experienced professional working in data warehousing, and they have experience for 6 years, but wants to know the challenges that they can. I'm trying to understand this question here. Let's see. What are the challenges of a transition to the role of data scientist, and what will recruiters expect? And so I think you just pretty much answered that question. I mean, having a background in whatever field or domain you have, even if it's not related to data science, like I said, data science, you can learn, but people really value the experience you bring outside of it that you can't get just from any course.
There's no A to B predefined career path. As a data scientist, you're a problem solver, and there's a lot of time, no clear path for it, so you have to move forward. And it's not always from A to B to C. So you're going to have to approach many different projects with an open mind and willingness to try outside of the box solutions that I think may contradict with what you have learned and you've done in the past. That's I think the route you should go and be open-minded.
Right. Now, we have a lot of people saying that how do we land an entry-level role in data science or even a data science job or internship? Because it seems that all roles expect some years of experience. How can you get around that?
Yeah, so to get started is, on one hand, start with some courses, start with some sites like Kaggle and do some projects and document these projects, show what you have done, show how you have approached it, keep on reaching out. As I said, there is a lot of demand, but everybody wants to have, I'm not sure if it's an English expression, a sheep with 5 legs. That's I translated from Dutch, but they want to have the ideal person, and this ideal person is not there. And that's why on one hand you see all this specialization in different type of skills and requirements. And on the other hand, yes, there is this, let's say, shortage, but you need to do it yourself. You need to build your career yourself and reaching out. So it's doing it, being proactive. And the best way, I think, is if you can get into a company that is data-driven and that has a nice brand. And even if you have to start for free or as an internship, that's the ideal route. But if you don't succeed, don't give up and start practicing yourself, but document it and make your CV, your curriculum vitae clear what you have done and how you've done it, and that you're interested in this domain, that you're interested in data science, that you're interested in analytics, that you're passionate about it. And every start is difficult, but start somewhere.
Is there any way to integrate cybersecurity and data science together, or is that too big of a crossover?
Yeah, so part of cybersecurity is data science, is supervised, unsupervised learning. It's all kinds of detection of attacks, cybersecurity attacks. So there is a part related. And on the other hand, everywhere you work with data, you are related to security, you are related to governance, you are related to ethics. And so everything what you do relates to these topics. You can't go around it. You need to take them into consideration. And if you really would like to be, let's say, specialize yourself in data science, in cybersecurity, then you need to be advanced, I think, because this domain is quite advanced. If you look into the world, into the financial world, especially over there with security, it's advanced. And the reason why it's advanced, the crooks are advanced as well, and they advance every 2 or 3 weeks with new methodologies, and you must be able to detect this. I've spoken frequently to people from the financial industry, and they say if something new pops up, we have around 7 days to catch up, which means that they have the best experts in the industry working on this. And for them, it's the critical foundation of trust in the financial system.
Right. Let's see. What minimum configuration of a laptop do data scientists need? And I don't know, that's kind of specific, but do you need a big investment in equipment in order to be a data scientist?
To be honest, I'm not too much involved in my computer equipment. So I have people providing me that. So I'm sorry, I cannot help with exact specification.
Great. Okay, cool. Let's move on. We've only got time for one more question here, 1 or 2 more questions. And what are the opportunities available for data scientists outside of the job market in data science? Do companies ever give their data sets to data scientists for them to work with? What are the challenges that data scientists these are one person's asking lots of questions here, but let's stick with those first two things. Like, what do you have to do? It sounds like they're asking, is there like a freelance data scientist opportunity out there where people will share their data sets with outsiders rather than having to hire them?
I'm not sure if I fully understand the question.
Okay.
If you are a freelancer, companies would like to hire you.
Do companies ever give their data sets to data scientists for them to work with? Meaning, so do you have to work at a company to be a data scientist, or can you be a contractor?
Yeah, you can be a contractor, and as a contractor, you probably have to hand over the work IP from your work. But definitely, as a contractor, there's tons of work. If you're good, you get a job and you get work and you get paid well. So the contractual relationship with companies, I think both. And what you do see is that contractors, freelancers, they most of the time are more experienced because they know their value. They know they can get jobs easily. So they say, I'm a freelancer, you can hire me. And if you stop hiring me, I go to the next job. So they're confident about their skills. Yeah.
What sort of what courses do you recommend for beginners? Like, if you're just starting out, what would be the first type of course you take?
I think it's data analytics. It's starting very simple, maybe with some data visualization type of courses. If you don't have any skills, no background, because if you start in data visualization, you understand the reason why you analyze data, the value of data, and let's say the hard part of the whole data management and the science behind it is done by other people. So this is an easy way to start. And what you see as well is that these type of tools augment the user more and more. So it's both, I think, educate yourself on one hand, and on the other hand, provide results.
Great. Okay, well, thank you. Well, that's all the time we have for now, but I just want to say thanks again to Ronald Van Loon for joining us today. Now, for all those who registered through WebEx, please keep an eye out for a follow-up email in a couple of weeks or so that will contain a recording of this webinar and the video and the slides, and it will also have a written wrap-up of the webinar so you can read it rather than watching the whole thing. So remember to visit simplylearn.com for more information on learning all about best practices and getting certified in data science. And if you have any further questions that did not get addressed during today's presentation, please feel free to tweet us at Simplilearn, and we will get back to you. So thank you, Ronald. It's a pleasure to speak to you again, and I'm sure lots of people are better off for having heard this great webinar.
Thank you for having me, and enjoy your day.
Great. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.